This is episode number 248 of the InnerFight podcast. Welcome back to InnerFight podcast, brought to you by Smith Street Paleo. Our new show sponsors over 100 paleo food recipes over on smithstreetpaleo.com. And of course, the ever popular Smith Street Balls, now available at 4 locations in the UAE: Vogue Fitness down in Abu Dhabi, CrossFit Metalized, InnerFight, and CrossFit Duo. And of course, if you want to make any direct orders, just contact hello@smithstreetpaleo.com. They would love to hear from you and take care of your orders. Welcome back to another episode of the InnerFight podcast with me, Marcus Smith.
And me, Andre Ude.
Here we go. Andre is the new show host. We're going to be doing this thing together. You nervous?
No.
Not really. No. Why would you be? Mate, you had so much good positive feedback about your appearances so far on the podcast. I think it's a natural progression. You're gonna bring the geeky side.
Hopefully.
You've got all the questions, and I'll just go blah, 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 blah.
That's good.
Mate, we've got a little bit of a tough one to start with, though. Our colleague, Carmen. It's just
back after 6 weeks in the grid.
Did you miss her? I didn't even know that she was gone.
I didn't really know that much before. Only it's been there for 1 month.
Not that bothered.
She's nice.
I think a lot of the members obviously missed her, and but a good thing. Obviously, you're a young athlete as well. What would it mean to you, before we go into her interview, mate? What would it mean to you to sort of be selected to go to play grid?
That's an amazing opportunity to actually become a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Age of 22, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I really know how it would go, listening to all how it's set up and with the training and everything, compared to my goals to make it to regionals first.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would actually be a good idea to do that before, but at some point, maybe, yeah.
At some point, it's and that was the thing when Carmen came to me and said that she's going to go or wanted to go to grid. I mean, that was my immediate reaction. It's like, yeah, you need to go. So it's going to be an interesting talk. I'm sure that we'll go through with her. You've got some fully loaded questions.
I got a lot of questions set up. I want to know everything.
You want to know everything? You're not nervous, so let's jump straight in, eh?
Let's do it.
Easy. That's right. Here she is, InnerFight's lost child. Boz is back. Hi, Boz.
Hi.
Finally back.
Finally
You
back.
missed this beautiful voice, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Dre, did you miss that beautiful voice?
A little bit.
A little bit. Mate, you've been on a massive adventure. Some parts more massive than the other. We'll talk about how to check a bag in from the US and have it land up in Dubai, the basics of travel. But, mate, just give us a little bit. Where have you been and what have you been doing? And then we're going to absolutely pep you. Dre's got about 15 questions. He's super keen, at least. Tell us a bit about what's been going on, where you've been.
Yeah, so I left 6 weeks ago to the States.
Yeah.
I had a flight to Amsterdam and then to Salt Lake City.
Yep.
Where grid was going to happen. It's not exactly in Salt Lake. It was like an hour away from the big city in a town called Provo.
Yeah.
Basically, there was nothing else to see except the grid.
Right.
We had the hotel where all the teams were staying.
Yep. Before we jump into that stuff, just give us this is you against Dre.
Yeah.
Your definition of grid. And then I'm going to go through his notes, which are absolutely going to... No, but, mate, just tell us from just a general population, what is grid?
Yeah. So it really looks like CrossFit, but you shouldn't compare it to each other. It's two different things. What is with grid is it needs to be fast, entertaining. It's high skills, heavy weights.
Right.
Compared to CrossFit, where it's a bit the same movements, but the way how they do it and the way how you compete in CrossFit or compete in grid is totally different.
It's totally different.
So different thing to watch Murph and then watch a grid league. 11 matches in only 2 hours. Everything's fast.
It's much more entertaining to watch, and it's not like sometimes when you see a CrossFit competition, it's the same workout over and over again.
Yeah.
All the heats, it gets a bit boring. But this is two teams competing against each other, racing for the win. Yeah.
The founder here of the Grid League was a former founder of CrossFit together with Greg Glassman, right?
Yeah, I think Tony Bunning.
Yeah.
Is he still involved?
So I think he's out now, but he's he actually got the ID. That's what the guys at Grid told me from seeing the invitationals.
Right.
When you have like the Europe versus America or world versus America, what was it?
Yeah.
And then he saw that there was actually something in it that people like to watch, something that's short.
Right.
And that's about fitness.
Yeah.
And that's how he got ID, and then he set up the Grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dre, you've got some interesting notes there on sort of facts about the Grid. Just give us a little bit more insight into it, because I think that's super important as well, so people can really get a picture, and then we'll delve more into Boss's journey through it.
Well, the fact that Grid League and CrossFit has nothing to do with each other, and they don't want to have anything to do with each other.
How do you feel about that?
It's a little bit odd, and for a lot of people that might seem weird, because they'll see a lot of the pro CrossFit athletes in the Grid League.
Yeah.
Like Annie Forstarter, for example.
Right.
She's on the New York Grinders team, but again also in the CrossFit Games. And that's a little bit weird for most viewers, because they don't understand that why can CrossFit and Grid League have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
I guess there was a lot of fallout between Greg Glassman and this guy Tony Budding, but
I think nobody really knows what probably happened between them.
No.
Yeah. And there's probably some issues that they had with each other, and now they're hating on each other, instead of if they would work together.
Yeah.
They could maybe really make something work for so many athletes.
For the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when the Open actually started in 2011, Tony Budding was the guy that presented all of the workouts on CrossFit.com, and it was literally in just that. I don't know if the workout presentations are still there, but it wasn't a big show like it is these days. There was just Tony Budding with an athlete that could just about do all of the movements, or could demonstrate sort of the start position and the finish position. Yeah. And I think he was like at that stage, he was head of media for CrossFit, when CrossFit was obviously a lot closer. But like you say, I don't think anyone really knows what went on and how it kind of broke up. But it is what it is today with Grid, right?
Yeah.
So, another thing that you've got there is interesting on the matches, Andre, as well.
The fact that the races have multiple exercises and that you can put in specialists. I think that's where it differs the most from CrossFit, because in CrossFit in general, you need to be all around. You need to be good at weightlifting, you need to be good at gymnastics, you need to have a good engine and everything.
Yeah.
In this sport, you can bring in specialists, you can bring in lead weightlifters. Yeah. I know it had Klokov for a little bit.
They had Klokov last year, but then the problem is when you have just a specialist, like for instance Klokov, he's good in lifting a bar once, a really heavy one. Yeah. But when he has to do the ladder, he has to do 16 barbells. Yeah. Once he gets to the end of the barbell,
he's pretty tired.
He's dead, and he's not picking up that barbell anymore. Yeah. Or he doesn't really understand to move fast, or stuff like that.
So if you can pick out some CrossFitters.
Yeah, that's why I guess 90% of the whole Grid exists from CrossFitters, almost. Yeah. The only difference is now in CrossFit we all have to train everything.
Yeah.
And with Grid, you can just, if you're like lifting more, you just focus a bit more on lifting, and it doesn't really matter that you're neglecting your gymnastics.
Yeah. So they assemble a team based on almost like a soccer team. So you've got a goalkeeper, you've got a striker, defender, and a midfielder. Yeah. It's kind of the same. So talk us through your team a little bit, Boz, and what was your role? What was your role? Yeah.
So I think what was good in our team was that we had people who could almost do everything, but we had a few specialists. We had a girl, Valerie Calhoun. She was really good in gymnastics. She was probably the best one in handstand push-ups, and because she was really short arms, so her range of motion is short, so she moves really fast. Then my role was a bit filling in the holes everywhere. Yeah. And we had Danny Nichols, who was really, really strong.
Very strong. Like everybody knows that guy.
Yeah, he's insane. And then the other guys, actually, they could do pretty much everything. Then we had Marcus Philly. He's a pretty well-known CrossFit athlete. He's been a couple times to the games. Yeah. And so who else was there? Oh, Brian Miller.
Yeah.
From Invictus, right? Yeah, from Invictus. He was, I think, on the Invictus team when they won.
Yeah.
The only thing he sometimes had to do in a race was do 2 or 3 rope climbs really fast, and then he was done.
Easy.
Yeah.
And you?
Me, I did a bit, like I said, I did a bit of everything. Sometimes they put me in the beginning of the race, sometimes in the end. So in the beginning, it's always more the light weights, and sometimes some gymnastic movements. And then in the end, it's mostly like a barbell movement that you have to move fast.
And there would be 11 races. So how many races would you be in?
I think the max I was in was 7 races.
Okay.
Yeah, that was half finals.
And these races last from 4 to 8 minutes, typically?
Yeah, but you're never working for that long.
Okay.
So...
Because you can swap as much as you want.
You can swap as much as you want. So you want me to explain a bit how the races are?
Yeah, I think that's super interesting for people.
So the first race is... They all have a name. So the first race is called Partner Forward. And it's always a guy and a girl.
And that would be in every match? It would be the same format?
It's the same format.
Right.
So it will be 2 movements. It will be a skill and a barbell or a weight movement.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe a dumbbell or a barbell.
Right.
Yeah, and it goes like the guy starts with the movement and the girl has to stand next to him in some quarter.
Right.
Yeah, and he can only move when she's in that spot.
Okay.
And then when he finishes movements, you have to swap places and you continue. You have 4 quadrants on the grid, and then the one who races the first to the finish, the team wins. But it's super fast. A race takes like that first race takes only like a minute and a half, max 2 minutes.
Right.
And
so like one small mistake, a no rep can make such a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it always starts with a lightweight in the beginning, and the last quadrant will be like very heavy. So you need to get the strong girl and the strong guy in the end.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So basically, though, mate, the team, because the format's the same in every, it's called a match. So to get the format, a match is 11 races.
Yes.
So you've just given us the first one, which is a boy-girl.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So is that easy to prepare for? Like, because if we're talking about this difference between CrossFit and grid, CrossFit is like, we know, look at the open a day before the workout comes out, and then you have to do it.
Yeah.
Would you know the exercises, or you just know the format, that the first one is going to be a 2-minute race, boy, girl, bang? Or
we know from once we arrived there, we knew all the matches what it's going to be except the final. We didn't know that, we knew all the movements that was going to come up.
Right.
So the coach already, like the first day, we did all a bit of different things, and the coach saw who could do or who could push where.
Yeah.
And then once we know what race we're going to do, then he'll tell you like to test it, and then he'll make a decision who's going to be in it or not.
Right.
So it's basically not so much prepare for the unknown,
no,
it's
so
prepare for the known.
We only do the race once completely. That's all. And then we'll only do walkthroughs.
Right.
Because if you would do a race, if you would do all the same movements 4 days in a row at 110%,
it's killing you.
It's already hard on your body, like doing it once.
Speed, is that sort of, I guess you'd almost call it like the choreography, the process of it is like super, super important, because it's a 2-minute race, it's a load of reps, 2 people, super intense. If you, like you say, if you get a no rep, or if you're not in the right place at the right time, it's kind of, you're out.
Yeah, that's
almost.
why we did like 100 walkthroughs before we did the actual match.
Right.
So we would do the walkthrough, and you just stand next to your dumbbell or barbell, and you just say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 5 reps, run back, tag out. That's how we did it, like a couple times a day, and we also had like a plan A and plan B. What are you gonna do if this goes wrong?
Right.
So we all knew that.
From a team perspective, your team was Phoenix Rise.
Yeah.
How many teams are in this entire competition?
So there's 8 teams. You have a Western Conference and the Eastern. So in the West, you have New York Rhinos, Baltimore Anthem, DC Brawlers, and one more.
Brawlers.
Boston.
Great word.
What is it? I don't even know.
Brawlers. It means fight.
Oh, okay.
Like if you have a fight in a bar, we call it a bar brawl. It's just all in, just punches everywhere, glasses somewhere, just
that's why their logo is like this.
Boston
like
Brawlers. There we go.
Okay, and then it's
Baltimore Brawlers.
No, Baltimore Anthem, Boston Iron, and DC. Yeah.
There we go. So those teams, but they're all in the same
conference.
In the same conference, right?
And then you have the other conference where Phoenix Rise is in, the San Francisco Fire, LA Reign, and Miami Surge.
Right.
So how the first part of the competition is set up is the conference go together.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that goes to the half finals.
Right.
So we have the regular season and then we have the playoff. And regularly you only play people from your conference, and then afterwards you move to the playoff.
But it's all happening in the same place?
Yeah, it's all happening in the same place.
Right.
Compared to the previous years, it was different. Then they were traveling around the States.
That's what I thought.
But now I think they want to limit a bit with the budget.
Yeah.
It was probably much cheaper to do it all at
So there's 3 playoff games, right? So you play 3 games.
No, there's 3 games you play before the playoffs.
Yeah. So 5 total.
Yeah, 5 in total if you win everything.
How? One question that I guess a lot of people are probably thinking about, like, how did you get involved in it?
To be honest, Bjork, one of the girls who was on the team, one day she just sent me a message on Facebook, hey, would you be keen to do grid? And then I was like, I never really thought about it anymore, because I know the first year when it came out, I was like, whoa, this is it. It's going to be like a professional sport. It's so cool. And I just wish I could go to the States. I had the money to travel to the States to do the drafts. But then I couldn't invest that much money to go and then not getting into a team. So I kind of put it in I didn't really think of it anymore. And then when she sent me that, I was like, oh, yeah, why not? I think it's a great opportunity to do something different and see if
chance
I like
to become
it or
a
not.
professional athlete.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it. And I did know the coach from the Phoenix Rise from a couple of years ago.
And you paid him off.
And I paid him off. Yeah.
You
know how. You know how I roll.
But so going back to you got into it. We know what the setup is and stuff. Talk us through, because I think this is one of the things as well, and this is one of the things that people are sort of fighting for within the realm of CrossFit, and we know this is slightly different, is that you're almost hired as a professional athlete for a 6-week period.
Yeah.
So when you sort of got there and assembled your team, what was the atmosphere like as being part of the Phoenix Rise? Did it mean anything? Was there, did it feel different, or what was going on?
Yeah. It's actually the first time I've been on a team, like a real team sport. I never done that in my life. But I'm not a hard person to hang out with, I guess. So I fit in good in the team, relaxed, and I'm really relaxed. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
I know. Lost their trail of thought there.
Yeah, no, I lost it.
But what? No, back to the question. What was it like? Was there an aura of this is grid, this is professional league? I know it's fun, but at the end of the day, these guys are paying you for 6 weeks to be there to win. Yeah. And the whole grid model is a franchise model, essentially, where there's a lot of money involved to, someone's got to pay the bills.
Yeah, true. But it was more fun. Like, I didn't feel ever that I had stress that I had to perform or anything.
Right.
So I think that's also because we had a good group. Like, everybody was very nice to each other, and even if you in our team was good, but also compared to the other teams, like, everybody got along.
So you all stayed in the same hotel, right?
We all stayed in the same hotel.
Okay. Interesting.
All the teams.
All the teams were together, so we would hang out with everybody.
Be definitely playing with people's food and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You're not happy with that?
I think that's the only sport where it actually would work. All staying in the same.
We
hotel.
would hang out with different teams and.
Did you play table tennis with any team?
There was no table tennis thing.
What?
No, we just hang out on the pool.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
No wonder this is. Yeah, okay.
That must be the only sport where that would work.
We played a game. What's called Against Humanity with the cards.
Right.
You know that game?
No.
Oh, damn it. I don't know.
Who knows? But so you're all in the same hotel, so you're seeing each other. What was food-wise and staying in this hotel, how does it all pan out?
Staying in a hotel wasn't really ideal because you don't have a kitchen, and we always had to go out for food. America, yeah. We got some money per diem to pay for that, but you don't really want to go out every single day.
Yeah.
There was an option to get a meal plan, but they only deliver it once a week. And then if I have to eat food that I already got on Monday and I have to eat it on Saturday, it's not that. And we only had like this small fridge. So food wise, I think there's a lot of improvement that they could
were they
bring.
not concerned about that, mate? Like you're
not really.
Really?
I don't
they
think
just don't give a rat's.
They tried to.
It's incredible, though, isn't it? I mean,
I think they should have handled that much better.
Yeah.
Like they should have had like maybe big fridges where everybody could put their meals in or something.
Was everyone not freaking out?
Yeah, a lot of people were freaking out about it. Yeah,
just no good
but
food.
yeah, what do you do?
Because the nutrition is such a big part.
Yeah,
like,
no.
How can they not think of that?
Yeah, I think that's
a professional sport. And
and it's like yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into something else. The training up to the matches. So you're living in these hotels. You're doing the matches. There's 5 matches in the 6 weeks. How's the training in between? You guys did a lot of prep, but you weren't able to train
like
normally compared to how you train here at InnerFight.
Oh, true. So here we train almost 2-3 times a day, and there we also did 2 or 3 times training, but you're not really training the whole time. Like I said, it's walkthroughs. So we would do the race just once with everybody. So, but if you only in one race, that's all what you do, and you just pay attention to what everybody else is doing. So you
could, in a match of 11 races, you could actually only be selected for one race that
and you
night.
might be doing just 15 pull-ups, and that's it.
And that's it.
Were you allowed to train normally? Or not?
We would have one practice on the grid itself, and then we would have another training that would be in some gym, and there we did like blood flow.
So you have to follow their program, kinda.
Yeah, kind of, because they didn't really want you to do that much extra, because let's say you do your own workout and you're super sore the next day, and then you have to perform in the match and you're not going to be your best self. So
how did you and the other athletes think about that? I mean, a lot of the athletes, as we said, they all compete in the CrossFit Games, and
true.
I mean, 6 weeks out of your training, that's 6 weeks where other people can work really hard.
Yeah, true. I think also because of a lot of specialists are there, that they're not always, or all of them, focused on just the normal CrossFit season. So but the people who are like me and stuff, I felt really fit when I got there, and I felt like every week I got less fit. So I got a bit stressed about it. But then I thought, let's just see it as a break from normal routine. And to be honest, I'm much more motivated to start normal training now in the gym here than I was before I left.
Well, that's good.
So I think there's a positive thing in it too.
Yeah, that's great. How was the social life like with the other teammates? You mentioned you knew Björk before.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet some new people?
Yeah, I got to meet some new people, and I think I got some really cool new friends of it. And because of...
So we're out.
You're out, guys.
Next.
Yeah, but now because the team is from all people from all over America, I know in every state almost somebody now. So if I want to travel to the States, I can probably hang out.
We
can all go there now.
That's a good network.
Yeah, social life there, because you have two, maybe 3 trainings a day, and then there's nothing much else to do. So we would just hang out on each other's room and like watch on television. The girls had an idea to start a dance. So we were just practicing dancing in the hallway.
We saw some
stuff, because we were so bored at some point. We're like, let's start dancing. And
really?
Yeah, we made a choreography.
So there's kind of a bit of camaraderie, a bit of fun going around the hotel. But how does that then transfer into the matches? Like, Andre's as surprised as I am. I don't think I've ever... I remember when we were playing in the Hong Kong Sevens, and for Sevens tournaments, we would generally stay in the hotel with all the teams, but we would just look at, like, death stare at each other across the buffet, and I'd be making sure he was having pancakes and I wasn't, so then I'd be, but when you went... useless information, but when you went to the arena and you're sort of into the matches, talk us through a little bit of the intensity within those matches, because I imagine it is super intense, but they're kind of the guys you've been sharing breakfast with.
Yeah, true. But once you're there on the grid, it's not like high-fiving each other anymore or saying hi. So,
I guess in a sport like this, it's not like a boxing match. You cannot... What they do, you cannot...
You can't influence?
You can't influence them. Yeah. You're not in the same lane. You're two different lanes. Whatever you do... They can't do anything.
You try not to look to what they're doing, and then you just what our coach always said is, don't look at them, just do your thing, do your reps, know where you need to be at what time, and then we'll win the match.
Right.
But don't get upset for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the matches, because and dig into a little bit, like what was sort of your real role, and how did it change? Did you get to do more, or did you get to do less within the matches? Would they recruited you almost as an all-rounder?
Yeah,
I
as
guess.
a general. Yeah.
Just as a So how did that pan out into the matches themselves?
So the races where I was in most of the time was the Echoes. So that's race 2 and 3.
Which is what format?
So Echo means is just think of any chipper workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do it twice in a row. So you'll do it, then rest 3 minutes,
right,
and do it again.
Okay.
But the setup can be different. So you have 5 people playing.
Yeah.
So 5 girls going, and you can put them wherever you want in the first race, and you can change it completely the second race.
Right.
But the movements are the same forward.
Right.
So what movements are we talking here?
Yeah.
Like any barbell movement, any gymnastic movement. So the first part would always be maybe squats, overhead squats, dumbbell snatches, kettlebell swings in the first quadrant. Second one, you would move to the barbell. You would do pull-ups or ring muscle-ups or barbell muscle-ups.
Yeah.
And then you will have something like handstand push-ups, and then or rope climbs. And then the last quadrant would be a heavy bar, or like one heavy bar, like it would be hang cleans, shoulder to overhead, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, around about 40 reps.
Wow.
40 to 50 reps.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's extremely varied.
You can split it with those 5 girls. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a super fun format, especially when you're girls only as well. That's cool, huh?
Yeah, and with our girls, we would always win the all-girl workouts.
Oh, really?
We won all of them. That's why the other teams were actually afraid of our girls, because they knew almost they were going to lose.
Really?
and we would say that before a match, because that's like everybody comes together, and then you're like this.
You kind of huddle up.
Yeah, you huddle up.
Full
and
American style.
And then one person, like the captain or somebody else, will say something motivational, and we would say like, okay, guys, feel no pain. And they were like, yeah,
how good.
Feel no pain.
So there is like a really cool like team camaraderie in the whole American.
Yeah, exactly. Like
That's
some
cool.
teams had their own, I don't know, haka kind of
Really?
thing. Like they were like yelling and screaming.
Face paint? He knows about face paint, don't you?
American football.
American
It's
football.
all about huddle ups and face paint.
Yeah. Some girls had some glitters, but our coach said, girls, you're not going to do that at all. Nobody's playing the match if you have that on your face.
Really?
We're like, we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
No.
That's hilarious.
I don't think glitter would scare anybody anyway. So.
Not really.
So what was your favourite format of race then? I mean, obviously you enjoyed that one because you won it, but
my favorite was the triad. So it's again when all the girls go together.
Yep.
And then it's so 3 girls go at the same time, and it's so if it's overhead squats the first quadrant, it's 3 barbells there, and maybe it's 15 reps.
Right.
So 15 reps on each bar has to be done before you can go on to the next quadrant where there's maybe pull-ups or something.
Right.
Yeah. But the cool thing about this is if I'm really good in overhead squats and the girl next to me is not so good, she might just do 8, and I'll finish my reps faster than she goes, and then I would just pick up her bar and finish her reps on it. And then once all the bars are done, the reps, then the first girl can start. Like you can start on the next one.
Yeah.
So it goes like that, and like it's intense.
So it sounds like you guys basically dominated the whole thing. So you went through the regular season, won everything.
Yeah,
then you went to the playoffs.
We had one match that was super close, and that was against the San Francisco Fire when we played them the first time. It was race like. They won the race, we won, and we lost, and like
back and
forth, and it all came down to the last race.
So the scoring system works like this, if I understand right. Every match you can get 2 points if you win.
Yes.
And if the other team that loses still completes the race within the time cap, they still get 1 point.
Yeah.
And then for the final race, you can get 3 points. So there's a big game changer there if you're equal on points.
Yeah, and then there's an extra rule that you can throw in the bonus flag.
Okay.
If you throw that in, you claim that you're gonna win it.
Really? Okay.
So
it's wicked.
So if you throw that in, you're 100% sure that you're gonna win it. But if you don't, and so you will get 3 points instead of 2.
Right.
If you don't win it, of course the other team gets those points.
Wow.
You have to know the Rise never put that flag in.
Oh man.
But we always take it. Every time they threw in a flag against our team, we always took it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool, huh?
That's
pretty good.
That was pretty cool, yeah. And then you can challenge. So if the coach from the other team saw that there's something went wrong, for not like a good judge, or we did something wrong, they can challenge us.
Can throw in a red flag?
They just we challenge. The head judge ask what they're challenging, and they have to say exactly that movement that they thought was wrong or wrong.
Yeah.
And then they'll look it back on the footage.
Yeah.
If it's exactly wrong, then the match will be done again. Only the last 2 quadrants.
Wow.
So then both teams have to race again to see who gets the points.
You can only do this once match.
Yeah. But if you are wrong, then that other team can take one player out in the last race, and everything comes mostly down to that last race.
Right.
So they will take out your best player for that race, and then you're kind of
cool. So there's a little bit of
That's very similar to American football. With
that's what everybody said.
See the play again.
I think that's the American part about it.
One thing that I saw, and obviously creates, I guess, I don't know on purpose, but some controversy is sort of what we'd know from CrossFit as essentially poor movement standards. What do you think about that, Bos? I mean, it's very. I think it's very easy to sit back and throw shit on it basically and say, they're not doing it properly. Like I didn't see much that was.
Well, it's a race. It needs to be fast. So I know when you see the deadlifts, they kind of bounce the bar a bit, but. Like some people gave shit about social media when Björk posted some video of her doing the race.
Right.
So it got like 500 comments and everybody just talking shit about her. Yeah.
Really?
But then they're like, oh, it's how you're gonna break your back. But to be honest, like when we train, we're not doing reps like that.
Yeah,
we all train proper reps. It's just in the race when we want to go fast, we're gonna do everything to keep that bar moving as fast as possible. And sometimes you break a bit form, but it's a race.
What do you think that brings to, like, as far as promotion of the grid as a sport goes? Do you think that benefit? Do you think the benefits of perhaps not such great movement far outweigh the negative side, or where are we at with it?
I think it would get boring to watch if they would judge it like CrossFit judges do, where they always have to freeze for almost sometimes a second. And then, like, where's the point when it's right or wrong? How long is that judge going to wait for... You know, it's going to be boring, and there's going to be more discussion about it.
I mean, it's really difficult, because I think a lot of people that don't do sports, or especially don't do CrossFit, they'll look at it and like...
But people that don't do sport, don't do CrossFit, look at CrossFit and go...
Same. Yes. Yeah.
You know, even we all did the workout yesterday, redo of 16.3, which is relatively light power snatches. And in the end,
you'll break your phone.
I'm sure, like... I was in bad shape, you know. And then I watched you guys do it, and
Jefferson curls.
And then I watched the Red Zone guys at night do it, and I'm like, and I'm shouting, "Keep your chest up!" But and we had another class going on at the same time, and I think they were more impressed with chicks and the guys doing the muscle ups, that they weren't too stressed about the poor form. But you kind of, I mean, we saw it a lot at the start of CrossFit, and we still see the CrossFit, as we sort of term them, haters, sort of making loads of comments. But I guess it's a real difficult one, as you said, to keep the intensity, and it's for the crowds. You know, you kind of need it to go fast, otherwise it wouldn't work, right? What about the crowds? Was there anyone there? Is there a following
in the beginning,
for this?
there was more people from the teams itself because all the teams would go because we're all staying in the same place. Yeah. All the teams would be there, and there would be a bit of people from the town who didn't really know it, and we would give it was free, so you could just get there and then watch a game. But they didn't really focus on getting people in the matches themselves. They want to focus on just when people buy it online and they just watch it online.
Right.
Okay. That's how they want to
promote it.
Promote it, and I think from now on it's on some channel in the States. They broadcast it now. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't live, but
I guess one question that's probably on in the front of everyone's mind is how you actually ended up, how it all finished, who won, what was the end result, and how did it all close out?
So something special actually happened this year because the DC Brawlers, they were undefeated for 2 years.
Wow.
So, but Phoenix Rising never placed them because only in the finals.
Yeah,
because that's another conference. So Boston actually beat them in the half of finals, which everybody got nuts about because everybody suspected DC Brawlers to go to the finals. They were never been beaten, and Boston just wanted it more. You could see it, they so wanted it, and every time they took a point from the Brawlers, you could see they're like, what's happening? They didn't got it together because they never lost. They didn't know how it felt, I guess.
When the favorites get knocked off.
Yeah, so then we got super excited because we were like, oh my God, we're not playing the Brawlers, we're going to play the Boston, probably. We didn't know yet because we still had to play, but we, of course, you think positive that you're going to make it.
Yeah.
So we played Boston, and then we got ahead in actually an early stage. We're always really, the Rise is good in the first 4 or 5 races.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they used to have some troubles.
Get tired.
Yeah, not tired, but it was not really good for how our team is set up.
Right.
But this year it was much better.
Right.
So we got ahead, and then we lost the last race, so race 11.
Yeah.
But that's something
where there's 3 points.
We normally not lose, but I think because we kind of knew we had enough points, it wasn't that much stress anymore.
Right.
So yeah.
This is the finale.
So that's the final. Boston versus Phoenix Rise. Phoenix Rise wins. We're all happy.
Amazing.
We're all happy.
That's great.
We got the trophy.
Good story, yeah.
So, now that everything's done, you're back here. The question is, would you want to go back?
Yeah, if it's the same setup as this year, I would do it again.
Yeah?
Just for short time,
yeah, if it's
6
for
weeks.
that short, then definitely, it's actually only 4 weeks because I took an extra holiday to go home.
Yeah, okay.
So
but what do you think? I mean, you say quite easily it's a good experience. It's obviously you've had a really good time, but aside from, I guess what I feel, it was a nice holiday with working out, with getting paid.
Yeah.
What else does it bring to you? Almost, and I know this might sound a bit crazy, but almost as a person, as an athlete, do you feel that you were able to develop?
I developed on one thing, and that was don't give up when you feel pain. Like you really have to not drop the bar. We always would make a bet. The one who drops the bar first
buys the pancakes.
Buys dinner for the other two girls.
Really?
Yeah. So you're not dropping that bar.
How many times did you buy dinner?
Never.
0.
Yes, winner.
So happy. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And in 10 years from now, where will Grid League be? Or just 2 years from now? Do you think it'll continue? I know that when it started, it was just getting crazy, and then all of a sudden it seemed like they're expanding a little bit too much, and then some people pulled out.
I think that's a question that everybody's asking who was on the grid. Yeah. If they would have started out 3 years ago like they did this year, I think it would have been much better by now.
Right.
They started out too big. They had crazy things, and it was cool. Like if that would have kept on, then whoa. But they started a bit too big, and instead of just building it up,
so some investors pulled out,
but then
I don't really
the initial
know
investors
about
pulled out, and then they got reinvestment.
Yeah, I don't really know how about the investments.
But do you think it has a future?
I think it definitely has a future. Yeah.
And it's nice for the spectators. Maybe they'll get bored of watching the CrossFit Games, watching Murph 45-minute long event, or at the same event every single year. I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely something like you can follow, like American football. Like you pick a team you like, and you like the players or not, or like
There's a chance to become a fan actually. Like you can get fan gear, you can support a team, you can compare the teams.
Yeah, true. There's fan gear if you want some fan gear of me. No.
Signed. We should actually give. No, we won't. Do you think though, mate? Do you think like speaking about the future? Obviously, like with Tony Budding leaving CrossFit and what we sort of spoke about at the start, then you've got this controversy of it's not CrossFit movements, but you've rightly told us why it's not, and it's not supposed to be CrossFit, and they're saying it's not CrossFit, but it makes sense to me that the immediate fan base is people that are interested in CrossFit fitness. Yeah. So where does I mean, do you think that CrossFit is slowly accepting it because they're all people, like Andre says, that have been to the games maybe, that are playing in it? Where do you think that whole sort of equation is going to go to?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
I have no idea, actually.
Dre?
What do you think,
It's
Dre?
hard to say, like it's still so different, even though it's the same crowd that sees both sports, but I don't think CrossFit wants to have any association ever with Grid League.
No. I don't think they do either.
No. But you think if somebody else would had that idea, if it wouldn't be Tony Budding who was in CrossFit before, you think it would have been different?
No. I don't think it would have been any different.
No.
And now
I think
Tony Budding's out.
It's a total different concept. CrossFit wants all the athletes to pay them. CrossFit just wants to make money.
Yeah.
And make us pay to compete.
Yeah.
Compared to Grid is the total opposite. So I think that's why they don't want to like it, because then they're saying what they're doing is a bit off.
I agree.
Right?
I don't know. I think the more that I think, like we said at the start, it was a bit confusing what it's really going to be, and it went too big. But if you say the feeling of being there is that this thing is going to continue, they're getting a few online views, they're going to keep selling it. If they can, I mean, I don't know how much it costs to put on X, Y, and Z, but I think if they can sustain it for a while and pick up that viewing, I think the concept of viewing fitness at a high intensity and easily online, like, I would have loved you to send us a link and we could just log in and watch it, and I would have actually probably paid for that, and I would have screened it in the gym here because we've got a connection. So if that's available next year, like, it will grow its base.
It's athletes from all over the world. I mean, you probably have people from 50 different boxes at least, just in a couple of teams. That's already 5,000 people from all over the world. If you build up a strong fan base that they branded well, selling gear and stuff. I mean, if they'd be selling Bosman gear, I bet. 50 members.
The problem is when you broadcast it, it's like states the time difference. I think that's the biggest problem, to see it.
But the coolest, I guess, one of the coolest things, the way that CrossFit is broadcast on YouTube, you can go back to it and you can.
I think if you pay for it, you can always.
You can go back, and I guess that will give it sort of legs to grow. I think my personal opinion is that the judging, some of the movement standards anyway in CrossFit are still quite poor and inconsistent. So I think the haters are always going to hate, and they're always going to say, no, Grid is terrible. But if you look at your own backyard, I don't think it's much better. And I don't think it ever will be, because of the nature of the sports.
You want to know, the judges on Grid, actually, that's a job. Like, they get paid
to do it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's interesting.
So I think
they
get
promote that.
I think they even get more paid than the athletes.
Wow.
To do that. There's only like 10 people, and they'll go through it. They have like everyday rehearsals on the same movements, on the same races. So there's the two head judges who are actually coaching the other judges.
You see,
that's
very cool.
I think that's a positive thing, and that would be good in CrossFit. I think that's where CrossFit could learn.
I really see a lot of potential in it.
Definitely.
I personally would love to watch it. I would love to watch it more, and as I say, if that real link and the good streaming, like, you watch CrossFit, we watched the Swiss Alpine battle because it was so available to us. If you make it available and you sort of push it out there, I think it's fantastic. And honestly, like, we're a CrossFit affiliate. I would love to stream Grid in the gym, because it's about participation of fitness and in a sport. And if they haven't got it quite right now, that's okay. CrossFit didn't have it quite right. You watch the squat clean to overhead where Jason Kleiper won in the games on the sand in 2007 or 2009. It was revolting.
Look
the
at
movement
this
standards.
year's games, the deadlift ladder.
exactly.
It wasn't even ground.
Yeah.
Sarah told me that she was like on one point, she was just like heels up, and then the other one she was like this.
But that's hilarious, isn't it? Because it was at the home of the CrossFit Games, everyone's like, no, that's cool because that's how it was. But yeah, I think people need to just stay open-minded, and I think watching competitive fitness and at a high intensity, there's always going to be injuries, but it's going to be super fun and adrenaline.
True, and just knowing that those athletes don't train like that.
Yeah.
The whole time.
We hope.
Like, otherwise we wouldn't last for that long.
Easy, boss.
Okay.
You're
Awesome.
back.
Yeah.
Next time you're allowed to go on holiday is a year's time.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like too much hard work.
So she gets 6 weeks. I can get 6 weeks.
You get
as well?
as much as you want, mate.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
He's here 1 month and already wants 6 weeks off.
holiday.
Oh my God,
That's
Andre.
the way we go. But mate, well done, and we obviously hope you get invited back next year. Hopefully you didn't piss anyone off and you get called
I
back.
don't know. We had a couple of parties after, so
Yeah, I imagine.
I don't know what happened.
We'll save that for the after show. Awesome. Thanks a lot, boss.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
So there we have it. That was Carmen. That was Grid, mate. Is that what you thought it was, or what's the final thoughts on chatting to Boz about Grid?
It was interesting to hear how the whole thing was set up.
Yeah.
I didn't really have that many thoughts about it before because it didn't really catch my attention too much.
Yeah.
But after listening to it, it sounded like it actually has potential for a big future.
Yeah.
The team sport, with the fan base they can build up, with the setup and everything. So
yeah,
very interesting.
That's the thing as well. And like we were closing out with there, like I think if I knew where to watch it, I would have watched a lot more of it.
Yeah, they haven't really been good enough in bringing it out to the CrossFit community, which would be the fan base.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I guess there might be some slight legal constraints.
Yeah,
there.
CrossFit is really good at just keeping it.
I'm not sure if emailing all of the CrossFit affiliates and saying, "Hey guys, this competition's going on," is the way that you'd go about it.
I think Greg Glassman found out he probably cancelled a couple of affiliations for that.
Yeah, I think so. But definitely a super cool competition to keep a lookout for next year. And
indeed.
Obviously, if Boz goes back, and as we said at the start, I think for guys definitely like you, for young guys to get involved in that would be
very cool.
Would be very cool. Yeah. So that was Boz, mate. You made it through your first show.
It's good so far.
It's a good job you weren't nervous.
Nah.
It's pretty straightforward. You've got some really cool ideas for guests coming up as well, and we put together a list. So we're gonna be getting through a lot of pretty cool people, and together taking on a lot of fitness things and trying to bring in some more international people through Skype and stuff as well. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Cool, folks. Till next time, we'll catch you.
Yeah.
Easy. And of course, folks, if you do have any questions or comments, people you want to see on the show, or things you want to tell Andre or I, don't be afraid. Drop us an email, winning@innerfight.com. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to get your thoughts on the show, or get some of the guests that you want on the show to come on the show. Thanks a lot. And of course, a massive thanks to our show sponsor, Smith Street Paleo. Remember, over 100 paleo food recipes over on smithstreetpaleo.com, and the ever popular Smith Street Balls now available at 4 locations across the UAE: Vogue Fitness down in Abu Dhabi, CrossFit Metalize, InnerFight, and CrossFit Duo. Of course, if you do have any direct orders, contact hello@smithstreetpaleo.com, and they would be absolutely delighted to help you. Thanks a lot to Smith Street Paleo for their support of the show.